Assalamualaikum. My name is Atarnisha Meti Mama Amin. My metric number is 2020990367 and I'm going to talk about introduction. The trade union confers various rights and powers on trade unions, most of which are to be found in Part 4 and 5 of the Act. All the rights and the vast majority of powers are available only to registered trade unions, but some of the powers are available to any union, whether it is registered or not. However, it should be borne in mind that unions do have other rights and powers accorded them by other law. Furthermore, in Malaysia, there are three sorts of trade union, such as public sector, private sector, and employers' union. A trade union is an independent organization or group of employees that acts as a voice to regulate employer relations with the goal of improving good industrial relations, enhancing both parties' economic and social status, and finding ways to increase productivity for the benefit of all parties involved. In addition, the Trade Unions Constitution, TUA, provides trade unions with a number of rights and powers. After that, the majority of which are detailed in Parts 4 and 5 of the Act. All rights and the vast bulk of authorities are reserved for recognized trade unions. After that, certain powers, however, are available to any union, whether registered or not. It's crucial to note, however, unions have additional rights and capabilities in law. In a capitalist country like Malaysia, there are three compelling reasons for workers to join trade unions. First, to begin, they take use of trade union financial perks, such as improved pay to improve their economic status. Second is they will ensure that their rights, such as protection against unfair treatment and job security, they are preserved by joining trade unions. Finally, trade unions work to protect members against the social exploitation.
Assalamualaikum, madam. My name is Mawanka bin Kutahid, and my metric number is 2020990291. I am going to present about the power of Director General of Trade Union. There are 5 powers of Director General of Trade Union. DGTU, the short form, which is registration, deregistration, funds and account, membership, executive or officer or employees of trade union. However, the first power of DGTU starts with the power of registration. The Director General of Trade Union, DGTU, has a huge power regarding registration and any other matters that related to trade union. The definition of registration is the act of recording a name or information on an official list. For an organization that registers a trade union, has to be in a prescribed manner according to the Section 12A, 12.1 Trade Union Act. Each union must be registered with the Director General of Trade Union, where the application must be made with the signature of at least 7 members. Then the Director General of Trade Union will issue a certificate of registration, where the authority to approve the application is at his discretion. The union is only entitled to the return right when it is registered. Moreover, the Director General of Trade Union may refuse to register a trade union if he is satisfied that there is in existence or already available a trade union representing the employees in that particular trade, occupation, industry or establishment, and it is not in the interest of the employees concerned that there be another union in respect thereof. Furthermore, the application for registration must be made within 1 month to 6 months, and they can refer to Director General of Trade Union if they want to extend the period of registration of the union formation. This application must be made in the required Form B and in accordance with the prescribed manner and procedure. The address of the union of the union must be provided as well as their name, age, citizenship, and occupation. If the Director General believes that a trade union is likely to be utilized for an illegal or opposite purpose to the aims and rules, he may refuse the registration. That's all for me. Thank you, Madam.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum to Madam Isrin. My name is Nabilah binti Narsham and my student ID is 2020955293, and I am about to present my part, which is the deregistration. Okay, the term of deregistration refers to the action to cancel the registration. This is the next power of the Director General Trade Union. The Director General of the Trade Union has powers to deregister or cancel the registration of a union under certain circumstances. Under these circumstances or events, the registration may be revoked. Among the causes is, firstly, if they find that the certificate issue has an element of fraud and has error. Another is if the trade unions found have been spent on unapproved objective or illegal of the union has case to close down. The Director General Trade Union also may cancel the certificate of the registration of the trade union. Other than that, the other causes that may happen to this deregistration is when the trade union have the biggest number of members. Example that can be related to this issue when the Director General found more than one trade unions that have been registered. Then they will choose only one where the registration has a large number of employees. The merger or disbandment of a trade union. Example for this is two trade unions may wish to join to create one form of trade union. The consequences: one of the trade union certificate must be revoked. The Director General Trade Union or DGTU also has authority to issue a suspension order in a trade union branch if it is found that the branch has violated the law under the act provided. That's all from me for deregistration. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.
One of the most important sectors is union money. Union funds, according to the TUA 1959, can only be used for stated purpose, which include paying union employee salaries, expenses for the upkeep of the office, expenses for the settlement of a trade dispute, compensation to members for trade dispute losses, expenses for the application to new settler, and expenses for the organization of members' social, sport, and educational activities. The fee of any cost incurred by a candidate or prospective candidate for election to the Dewan Rakyat or any Dewan Undangan Negeri. By the first day of October, the union's account must be audited and handed to the Director General of Trade Union. Failure to submit account after receiving proper notice will result in the union being deregistered if a registered trade union violates any of the provisions of this section. It must retain such account books and other documents as regulation may require.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to Madam Isrin and all of my classmates. I'm Mumtaz Najib binti Jantai. My metric number is 20209734115. So, as a fourth presenter, I would like to present one of the fifth powers of Director General of Trade Union, or we call it as DGTU, which is represent the memberships part. As we all know, Malaysian employees have the right to organize or even join a trade unions. This is known as freedom of association, and it is guaranteed under the Industrial Relations Act of 1967 in Section 5. I would like to present the 5th Act that stated in Trade Union Act, TUA. Okay, so firstly, the Act states that no employer shall include a condition in a worker's employment contract that stops him from joining a union, meaning that we are not unstoppable to join any association out there. Okay. Secondly, no employer may refuse to hire a worker because he is a member or officer of a trade union. We should make a report to Labour Office if it is happens. Thirdly, no employer can discriminate against a worker in terms of promotion because he is a member or officer of a trade union. Fourthly, no worker should be intimidated or fired if he intends to join a trade union or participates in union activities. In my opinion, all employees should be treated equally. Lastly, workers might also choose not to join a trade union. Workers, for example, shall not be forced to join a union as stated in Section 7. Regarding to the closed shop or union shop that only applied in US and UK, it meaning that some unions agree with employers that only union members would be hired in certain regulations. However, the trade union also has exceptions to certain parties, which is not everyone can join a trade union. Among those who can join are any persons under the age of 16, students from schools and higher education institution unless the student is an employee and over 18 years old. Next, an individual who is exempted from joining a trade union is any civil servants, whether employed on a contract or permanent basis. But Trade Union Act adds that Yang di-Pertuan Agong may exclude any public officer or group of them, such as any government employee or related with them, from this restriction by informing them in the government gazette, except for members of the armed forces, the police, and any prison service. It also includes public officers who are forbidden by law from establishing or joining a union, public servants that work in a secret or security function, and public officers in management and professional positions who have not been approved membership in the union by the Chief Secretary to the federal government. That's all for the fourth power from me, and I will pass the next power to the next presenter, Amar. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum to Madam Izrin. My name is Muhammad Amaraidi bin Abdul Rahman. Metric number 2020-950721. Officers of the Union. A classified state worker elected as President, Government, Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer, Agency Vice President or Regional Vice President. World Health Organization WHO has specific duties and it authorized to act on behalf of the Union and administer this agreement according to a Union officer. The Director General of Trade Unions has authority over unions officers and officials. There is a qualification that must be met for a person to be elected to the executive of a trade union. The Director General of Trade Unions has broad authority to monitor trade unions' activity and govern trade unions' function to ensure that all employees and employers' rights are upheld in accordance with the law. The power of Director Generals is defined under Section 4(a) of the Trade Unions Act 1959 as in addition to the powers, duties and function conferred on the Director General by this Act by any regulation. The Director General shall have may exercise all such powers, discharge all such duty and perform all such function as may be necessary for the purposes of giving effect to and carrying out the provisions of this Act and any regulation. According to Trade Union Act TUA 1959, to become member of the executive of a trade union, a person must be Malaysian and minimum of 1 year experience in any trade union. They must be elected at biennial or triennial conference. They should not be an employee of any political party. They should not have been an officer or officials of any trade union. They should not have been found guilty by any court of law criminal breach such as breach of trust, extortion, intimidation, or any offence in the option of the Director General of Trade Unions renders unsuitable to be an officer of a trade union. Lastly, the election held by the trade union for an executive election should comply with the union members' rights, which is they must be elected by a secret ballot. This method keeps the voters identified safe and anonymous and to protect from blackmailing and potential vote buying. Secondly, every member must have an equal right and reasonable opportunity to record his vote freely. This allows the union members to vote by reasonable ground such as does his candidate stand with the same ground or the objective is clearly similar with each other. A trade union must allow all its members to vote in election to give the power to negotiate for more favorable working conditions and other benefits through the collective bargaining.
In a conclusion, the Director General of Trade Unions have 5 key powers, which are clearly outlined in the Trade Union Act of 1959 under the Director General jurisdiction. Furthermore, Malaysia industrial law recognizes the right to labour, but it is severely limited. While workers' right to strike is not denied, it is limited in order to strike a balance between unrestricted strike freedom and the need for industrial peace in order to advance economically. A labour union must also follow the legislation, namely the Trade Union Act 1959 requirements. It should determine members from taking part in illegal activities such as strikes. The Director General of a trade union plays an important role in terms of registration, deregistration, fund and accounts, membership, and union officers. Furthermore, we may have had issues without the trade union Director General because no one has authority over trade unions. As a result, the Director General abilities will indirectly lead to a very good labour relation system, which will suit both employees and employers.